Hello and welcome to another episode of my Science Mode playthrough of Kerbal Space Program in the JNSQ Planet Pack. Today I will be preparing my Minmus base for fueling a Duna mission, or at least that's what I was trying to do here. We'll see how things actually went later on. And here you can see I am launching the tanker that will be sending fuel up to my fuel depot in orbit, because the idea behind this is that this tanker will go down to the surface base, get a bunch of fuel, haul it up to the fuel depot in orbit around Minmus, and then from there the Duna mission can the Duna ship, I should say, can rendezvous with the station, fuel up, and then head off to Duna. And so, yeah, this thing is just going to do that. It's kind of interesting, the rocket it's launching on. It's basically using my go-to super heavy thing, but because I wanted to make sure this thing could actually make it to orbit, I added those boosters that are basically just like the core stage of my lighter rocket. And then this thing doesn't have the typical Hydrolox third stage that this rocket has. Instead, the tanker will be getting itself into orbit and to Minmus. And you may notice that this doesn't have any solar panels on it. That's because there are some monopropellant fuel cells inside of that cargo bay at the end of it. And that cargo bay also has the fuel tank in it that will actually hold the fuel being delivered to the station. And so, yeah, it's just going to head up and do that. And this tanker is, I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing, isn't it? It's using those Falcon 9 style landing legs, and that's about it. It's not really that weird outside of that, I guess. And so here you can see the tanker just touching down at my Minmus base that I have yet to name for some odd reason, despite it being in like a good handful of episodes by now. And so now what is going to happen is I'm just going to get this Kerbal out of the lander, and what he's going to do is he's going to disconnect the lander from the fuel mining setup and connect that hose up to the tanker. Just like that. And then this happened. I guess, I don't know, some quirk of Kerbal attachment system is probably to blame for that. Or maybe there was just too much tension, but whatever the case is, now what's going to happen is fuel will be pumped into the tanker as it is being refined out of ore mined from the surface of Minmus. And there you can see everything kind of hopped up after exiting Time Warp. Now, I've tried to attach one or more of the base components to ground anchors using Kerbal attachment system things. However, it turns out the issue is that I was using free telescopic joints, which are allowed to move, when what I should have been using were, I forget what they're called, but they're basically the joints that don't move. So this little lander here is just going to bring a bunch of those over to replace the ones that don't work, or the ones that are the incorrect ones for what I'm trying to do here. So here we can see we just got, I'm assuming that's ribbery there, just moving the joints out of the cargo lander and into the rover. And then from there he can just drive up to anywhere with a ground anchor and hook things up in a way that should be more effective going forwards. And so, yeah, this first one, I don't even think it's a replacement. I think it's setting up a thing with a ground anchor that didn't even have one to start with. Just like that. And then we got more, what even are these called? Let me see. Oh, fixed telescopic joints, that's what they are, okay. So yeah, the free joints are getting replaced with fixed ones, and these actually do their job a lot better. Or they do. I keep on saying that as if I'm the problem here, because I didn't put the right thing on. That's why this was happening. But here you can see the tanker is just lifting off from the surface of Minmus to deliver fuel to the station now. Just gonna go ahead and retract those landing gear, even though there's no need to, since we're in a vacuum here. But the way I would say the way I see it, that's gonna cause less issues with having to worry about hitting stuff when docking this thing, but lo and behold, I'm trying to dock to the station and the landing gear are out. And then I go ahead and just send up the crew to the station, and something odd happened. You see, the docking port got stuck, like I couldn't undock it, so I thought, oh, well, I'll try to blow up the docking port with some C4 to, how to put this, to destroy the docking port and free the crew so they can go home. Because, you know, I have to admit I didn't really have an understanding of how the C4 added in by Kerbal attachment system works, and I just kind of figured it just destroys a single part, and we'll see real quick that is not the case. Also, the tanker had an issue where its docking port snapped off, so I went ahead and just deorbited it off camera, and I've pretty much given up on the whole fuel depot idea. And so yeah, we're just gonna have Ribbery get out and attach the C4 and activate it. And I think I could have destroyed the single part with it. I think my problem is that I set the radius, I didn't change it at all. So like the default radius was too high for what I was trying to pull off here, and there you can see a whole part of the station has been destroyed, and all of the crew have been killed. So yeah, that was unfortunate. Very much so. Yeah. And so, well, you know what, those 3 Kerbals may not be replaceable, but the section of the station that got destroyed sure is, so this thing is just going to be launched up to replace the gravity ring that just got blown up from me being incompetent, I guess. And so yeah, this thing is just going to get launched up to Minmus, rendezvous with the station, and dock to one of the 2 docking hubs I have on the station. And you can see that stage is being jettisoned, and the one after it is igniting. It's 2 Eagle engines, which are basically Raptors. Like, if the little Imgur thing that is linked to in the Cryogenic Engines mod is to be believed. Like, I don't know where that link even is. I think it's like on the, I think it's on the Space Dock page for it, although I don't know, because it's been forever since the last time I visited Space Dock. Because nowadays I just use CCAN to install all of my mods, although that's not entirely true, because, you know, sometimes there's like an extra thing or two that I can't find on CCAN. Like there's an extra mod that comes with cryogenic engines that makes it to where the engines from restock run on cryogenic fuels. You have to actually download the mod from Space Dock or somewhere to get that. And so with all of this being said, you can see the new replacement ring has been docked to the station. And so, with that being said, that is the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to leave a like. If you have anything to say about it at all, then leave a comment in the comment section down below. And if you want to hear about it every single time I upload, please consider subscribing and enabling all notifications. That is all from me for now. Goodbye.